Leading the Nightline tonight, Sarawak continues to step into the global spotlight, with the Premier set to lead a high-powered mission to the United Kingdom. The 5-day official working visit aims to solidify Sarawak's position in a new economy, focusing on digital infrastructure and high-tech human capital. Beyond Manchester, the mission will extend to Dublin and Bristol, targeting strategic collaborations in data centres and the semiconductor industry. And for the details, TVS News Chief Editor Iqbal Yusuf joins us from Manchester.
I'm standing here in the heart of Manchester, where the Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Bantinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tonopeng, is beginning a pivotal 5-day working visit to the United Kingdom and Ireland. Well, the agenda is packed with high-level meetings on green hydrogen and semiconductors in Bristol and Dublin. The heartbeat of this trip lies right here in Manchester this Sunday. The Premier will meet with Sarawakians for the Land Brambeh programme. It is a clear signal from the state government that the students and professionals abroad are the essential human capital needed to realise the Sarawak 2030 vision. As the Premier looks to bridge the gap between global technology and local talent, all eyes will be on the strategic MOU set to be signed later this week. That's it from me, Iqbal Yusuf, together with cameraman Aziz Soleh, reporting from Manchester. Back to you in the studio.
Right, thank you, Iqbal, for the updates. Next, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim has announced a progressive acceleration for Capability and Employment Economic Resilience Package, or PACE, exceeding 710 million ringgit, aimed at strengthening the national labour market. Speaking during the 2026 Labour Day celebrations in the capital, Anwar outlined a plan that targets social protection, skills upgrading and new support for working mothers. The government is also providing 100 million ringgit under HRD Corp for youth and vulnerable groups. Furthermore, an additional 20 million ringgit is allocated to boost social protections for gig workers. Anwar also confirmed 10 billion ringgit in financing for small and medium enterprises through Bank Negara. The Prime Minister assures that workers' welfare is a top national priority.
Negara ini harus aman. Negara ini harus membangun dan maju. Tetapi negara ini mesti menjamin keselesaan orang kaya, orang berpendapatan tinggi, saudagar-saudagar. Tetapi harus juga jamin nasib pekerja itu terbela. Ini utamanya.
The government is also introducing a post-maternity leave allowance. Under proposed amendments to the 2017 Employment Insurance System Act, working mothers can receive a one-time payment equal to 80% of their monthly salary for up to 30 days after the standard leave ends.
Oleh itu, sebagai langkah progresif mengiktiraf peranan wanita dan ibu di negara kita, kita bersetuju untuk memperkenalkan allowance pasca cuti bersalin di bawah Akta Sistem Insurans Pekerjaan 2017 dan allowance ini merupakan bantuan keuangan bagi cuti tambahan sehingga 30 hari sebulan yang diambil selepas tamat tempoh cuti bersalin 98 hari.
The initiative is expected to benefit more than 132,000 women nationwide. Global markets remain on edge as the Iran crisis drives sharp swings in oil prices, disrupts key shipping routes and fuels economic strain far beyond the region. Crude has been volatile, supply lines are being withdrawn, and inside Iran, ordinary people are feeling the impact through soaring living costs. The crisis over Iran is also intensifying in Washington, where the Trump administration is facing mounting pressure at home, even as it signals a tougher stance abroad. Here's the latest with Radzi Ahmad.
Thanks, Cheryl. Oil prices edged up on Friday after the previous day's wild swings, with investors awaiting the next move in the Middle East crisis, while Asian stocks rose in holiday-thin trade following a tech-led record on Wall Street. Now, with peace talks between the U.S. and Iran stalled for the past week, there appears to be little sign that they will agree on a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz anytime soon. After tumbling early in April on news of a ceasefire between the rivals, crude has spiked in recent weeks amid stuttering negotiations, and they soared yesterday after news reports said Donald Trump would be briefed on potential fresh military strikes. Now, Brent for June delivery hit a peak above $126 before easing back to end at $114, which was down for the day. Now, Tehran's air defenses were activated to counter small aircraft and drones late on Thursday, as the White House signaled that it will not be reined in by a congressional deadline on the Iran war. Now, the Tasnim and Fars news agencies reported that air defense systems heard in some parts of the Iranian capital were activated to counter small aircraft and reconnaissance drones for around 20 minutes, but that the situation had returned to normal. With a key congressional deadline looming, the White House insists it has the authority to press ahead with military action despite growing calls from lawmakers to rein in the conflict. Now, the Trump administration argued that the 60-day clock to seek authorization was effectively paused by a ceasefire announced last month. Now, the closure of the Strait of Hormuz as well as tensions in the Red Sea are reshaping trade routes, with Africa becoming a hub for global container ship traffic. Now, over the past 2 months, the blockade has also pushed ship owners to find alternative land corridors to deliver foodstuffs and manufactured goods by truck, as they can no longer reach the Gulf's coastal countries by sea. Jeddah is also fast turning into the Red Sea's emergency shipping hub. Mega carriers are rerouting via the Suez Canal, unloading in Saudi Arabia, then trucking cargo across the desert to Gulf markets cut off by sea for weeks. But congestion is rising, with ships piling up and wait times more than doubling in days. Now, shipping lines are already eyeing alternatives such as Oman's Sohar and the UAE's Khorfakan and Fujairah, as pressure on Jeddah keeps on mounting. Now, Iranians in Tehran say prices of basic goods have surged dramatically, with some reporting costs of up to tenfold since the war began. Our residents describe everyday items to becoming increasingly unaffordable, putting pressure on households already facing economic strain.
جنگ شده 10 برابر همه چیز گرون شده. یعنی من جوون از حتی سیگاری که دوستان میکشن 10 برابر شده. از 120 تومن شده 180 تومن. حتی نرخ ثابتی هم نداره. یعنی مغازه‌ها به خودشون کسی بالا سر اینا نیست که بخواد قیمت تعیین کنه بگه شما انقدر بفروش. همه یه قیمت میدن برای خودشون.
قیمتا در واقع داره میشه گفت نابسامانیه. یعنی حالت معکوس داره. میره بالا میره پایین در واقع اینجوری
Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump says a naval blockade against Iran could last for months, a move that has already pushed global oil prices to a 4-year high. As the standoff drags on, there are still no clear signs of a breakthrough either on the battlefield or at the negotiating table. For now, the Iran crisis continues to ripple across global markets, disrupt vital trade routes, and squeeze everyday life for millions. And that's it from me. Back to you, Cheryl, for other developments on TVS Nightline.
Right, thank you, Radzi, for the update. On a similar development, activists from a Gaza-bound humanitarian aid flotilla that was attacked this week by Israel are being transferred to an airport in Crete to be returned to their home countries. A total of 178 activists from various countries, including Malaysia, were transported to the village of Atherenolakos in Lasiti, eastern Crete, from where they will be taken by bus to Heraklion Airport. Anadolu agency reported that from the airport, the activists will be returned to their home countries. The Global Sumud humanitarian aid flotilla was attacked on Thursday near the Greek island, some 600 nautical miles from their destination, the blockade-ravaged enclave of Gaza. The first ships of the flotilla carrying humanitarian aid set sail from Barcelona on April 12, while the main fleet set sail from the Italian island of Sicily on April 26, aiming to break Israel's years-long blockade of Gaza. Israel has imposed a crippling blockade on the Gaza Strip since 2007, leaving the territory's 2.4 million people on the verge of starvation. The Israeli army launched a brutal two-year offensive on Gaza in October 2023, killing more than 72,000 people, injuring over 172,000, and causing massive destruction across the besieged territory. And now back to the region. Sarawak has entered the final stage of preparations for the 2026 Malaysia Games, or SUKMA, with logistics and accommodation now nearly complete. Sarawak Youth, Sports and Entrepreneur Development Minister Dr. Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah confirmed that athletes will begin training camp next week ahead of the biennial event. The decision to proceed with SUKMA 2026 follows a special committee meeting chaired by Youth and Sports Minister Dr. Mohamed Taufik Johari. While the opening and closing ceremonies will be scaled back for cost effectiveness, state sports excos nationwide have unanimously backed the continuation of the Games.
Saya dapat melihat apabila melihat mengambil maklum balas daripada exco sukan seluruh negara pada semalam, semuanya mahu sukan SUKMA ini diteruskan demi pembangunan sukan, demi karena banyak yang kalau kita lihat lebih banyak yang tidak bagus daripada yang bagus kalau ia ditunda.
Commenting on recent backlash surrounding the 2026 Rain Rave Water Music Festival in Bukit Bintang, Abdul Karim stresses that any program would carry both advantages and drawbacks. He notes that such an event, when properly managed, could foster familial bonds.
Lalu lintas di Sarawak, saya berani mengatakan, di Sibu Jaya sudah 3 ataupun 4 kali diadakan festival air. Dan saya melihat ia makin lama makin membesar. The last one which kalau tak silap saya tahun lepas apabila saya hadir, jumlah mereka yang hadir itu saya percaya lebih kurang 20,000. Dan saya dapat melihat bahawa sukan air ini adalah satu yang boleh merapatkan institusi keluarga. Yang hadir itu daripada cucu yang kecil sampai ke nenek, datuk semua turun, bapa, mak, yang diadakan pada hujung minggu dan melibatkan keluarga dan semuanya bergembira. Kalau itu yang dapat kita perolehi daripada sukan seperti ini, saya anggapnya sebagai bagus.
Abdul Karim reiterates that organisers must carefully assess venue suitability to avoid unnecessary disruption. Applications for registration to join the subsidised diesel control system for land transport vehicles in Sabah, Sarawak and the Federal Territory of Labuan will open from May 4th. The Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Ministry, KPDN, in a statement today said that applications for diesel subsidy benefits for the transportation sector can be made through the My Subsidy portal. The subsidised diesel rate for the land cargo transport sector is set at 215 ringgit per litre. Eligible applicants must hold a valid commercial vehicle licence and be registered with the Sabah or Sarawak Commercial Vehicle Licensing Board, among other conditions. Meanwhile, approved companies will purchase subsidised diesel using a fleet card. Applications for the fleet card must be submitted directly to a choice of up to 3 oil companies: Petronas, Shell or Petron. Processing and delivery of fleet cards are estimated to take between 2 to 3 weeks. The validity of the SKDS approval letter depends on the validity period of the vehicle's motor vehicle licence or road tax, as these must be renewed before 28th of each month. KPDN has said that the eligibility requirements for SKDS registration for land freight vehicles are subject to a valid and active motor vehicle licence and being registered as a commercial vehicle with the Sabah or Sarawak Commercial Vehicle Licensing Board, CVLB. I'm Michelle Schmatro. Thank you for watching and have a good night.